Alright guys, today I'm going to do another video, and this video will be on how I apply monocote, for example this piece onto the wingtip. Alright, a lot of people are having issues with compound curves, basically that being a wingtip, edge of a horizontal stab, whatnot. A lot of times people who rush the process will tend to have a lot of wrinkles or kinks in the covering because they didn't develop the proper technique on how to actually pull, tug, stretch, heat, and apply the monocle properly to the compound curve. So with this, and then the other thing is, a lot of them are trying to get a nice clean straight line, for example doing a multicolor scheme. In this case, as you can see, I got red, white, and blue, and a lot of them are trying to get this nice edge, for example like this. If you can see it on the camera, they're trying to get a nice clean edge like that. Alright, there's a lot of different ways and techniques on how to do it, and it's gonna vary from person to person, especially their skill level, or how long they've been doing this and how comfortable they are applying monocote. Alright, so you can basically cut it like this too, and then you can heat this portion first, heat the edge, and then pull it towards the center of the wing, and then iron it going upwards. The downfall of that is, now that you're going to, for example, this one's going to end right about here, I would end up having to cut this monocote on the top portion of the wing. Alright, as to if I were to do it the opposite way and start at the top of the wing and go downwards, I would end up having to cut the monocote just at the wing tip, which is, there's really no structural surface here. Alright, there's nothing, it's just all aesthetics and stuff like that. So what I would normally, and a lot of other guys too, would try to cut it prior to application. So they will cut it like right now, they'll do all the measurements and they'll cut that line, and then they'll try to place the monocote down and then iron it. Alright, now what happens with compound curves, they're never there's a curve going down, there's a curve going, lengthwise, widthwise, whatever. It's just all over the place. Alright, so monocote will not, in other words, you got to manipulate the monocote to get it around those compound curves. So even if you were to cut this exactly right now, it's on a straight, flat, dimension, and then you're going to try to apply it on a three-dimensional piece. Now when you iron it down and do the curves, sometimes it won't iron down right, and you have wrinkles or go crooked or whatnot. So that's just my take on that. But I'm going to go ahead and show how I do this in real time, no time lapse or anything. So let's get started here. First thing I'm going to do is, since I'm going to go from the top down, alright, I got a nice clean edge already starting off. I'm going to go ahead and place the monocote on top of the wing. Alright, making sure everything is all aligned right where I need it. I'm going to go ahead and place a piece of masking tape there to hold this down. Alright, I'm going to get another sheet or another piece of masking tape. Now, I want this front edge of this red to line up with the seam of this blue. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use this masking tape as my guide to get this line straight, following the blue. Alright, now I got a piece of masking tape down here, which I'm going to transfer to right about here. And the reason for this is, I'm going to pull this masking tape to get this front edge to conform to this compound curve. Alright, I'm not too worried about everything back here, because all this back here I'm going to pull and tug and stretch and everything, right? So, but the main thing is this front. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull, basically just everything laying down straight. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the front to make it go around this curve. Just like this, alright? And then once it's done, there you go. So you got that natural form, right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and take this tape that's on the top that's following the blue, and I'm gonna just eyeball it, right? And naturally just make it come down as if this was the monocle itself, just like that. Alright, so this right here, this line is where I'm actually going to trim the monocle. Alright, like I said, there's a lot of different techniques on how to do this. A lot of people, you know, will do it differently, but this is how I do it. Alright, and it never failed me. I always get nice clean edges and all this other stuff. So right here is where I'm going to trim off. Alright, as a matter of fact, you can see it's almost identical to the original, and that's the reason for that is because I already had done this. I was just illustrating exactly how I got that cut edge. Alright, so technically what I'll do now is I'll get the X-Acto blade and I'll come over here and I'll actually trim right at the edge of this masking tape. Alright, so just imagine I cut that off. Now this is the actual cut. Alright, blam. I took off the masking tape, and there it is. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is place it back onto the model, onto the piece where I'm actually going to monocoat. I have on this wing pattern, I got it set where it's 1/8, this edge 1/8 away from the blue. Alright, so I already got my little tick mark right there. I measured it 1/8 already. And so I'm going to go ahead and place the monocoat up to that 1/8 mark, making sure this is where I would have the monocoat laid. And voila, just like that. Alright, so once I'm going to put heat, I'm ironing it down. I will start by tacking the top pieces right here, this whole edge right here. I will tack that, iron this thing down. And the rest is all going to be pulled. It's the reason why you should have a lot of excess. Alright, so you can actually have something to grab and pull. If you do not have excess, you can use a piece of tape. Packing tape works the best because it's a little stronger and it holds on to the monocle better than masking tape. But masking tape will do the work too. It will do the job. So you put a piece of masking tape, for example, you cut it too short, you can place the masking tape with the edge, and you can use the masking tape for you to have some sort of grip to pull the monocle. Alright, so that's another way you can do that. So now we're going to go ahead and verify that cut to make sure that it will be straight with this blue line. So just imagine right now, I'm just imagine me ironing it down. So I'm pulling and tug, you know, and I'm putting heat right here. So as you can see, when it goes all the way down, you can see I still got that 1/8 gap in between the blue and the red, and it's a nice straight line going all the way down. Alright, so that's that. I'm not worried about everything else behind, because all this is going to get manipulated by tugging and pulling and ironing it down. And as you will see, maybe my hand will be blocking or the iron, but you will see the end result. Alright, and then I'll get to the most critical part once I'm done. Alright, so with this, I'm going to go ahead and peel off the backing of the monocoat, because as everybody knows, if there's a monocoat, there's a protective sheet, right, in the back, just like this, just like that, and you pull it off. Alright, so now the adhesive is exposed on the back side. Alright, so when I say adhesive, it's not sticky or anything, it's heat activated, so that's that. Alright, so I got this down. Let me go get my iron. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My damn phone memory is full already. But anyway, so this is basically the part iron down. Alright, so I pull, iron. Alright, so I'm pulling, ironing. Alright, okay, so you see how this wrinkles right there? And how people get that wrinkle to stay like that is instead of pulling and then applying the heat, they just go right over like this with the iron, and that will end up locking everything, all those wrinkles and everything. It's gonna lock it in there, and you're gonna have this ugly looking wingtip. Okay, but as you can see right here, there's no wrinkles whatsoever on the top. All right, and this is where I'm gonna dissect this in this right smack in the center. So this red is gonna be cut off right here at this edge. Now, how do you get a clean edge? All right, and that's really what I wanted to show in this video. All right, so hopefully we can get this done without this video stopping. All right, so with that, how do I get a clean edge? And that, once again, piece of tape. All right, so I'm just gonna basically place the piece of tape right where I want this to get cut. Alright, so I will start on the front, naturally have the tape go all the way to the edge of where I want it to stop. So just like that. Alright, so that's exactly where I want it. Now, to cut the monocle, make sure you have a brand spanking new blade. Alright, a lot of people will mess this up by using an old blade, and it's gonna rip. You're not gonna get that clean look, the clean cut. Alright, so get a fresh blade. Alright, put a fresh blade on your knife. You know, one of the single edge razor blades work great too. Alright, so let me just double check exactly if this is where I really want it. Alright, that's pretty much where I want to get it at. Alright, so now you just get your fresh blade, and you're going to lightly cut right at the edge of that masking tape. Alright, so your main goal here is to try to just cut the first layer of monocle, which is the red. You don't try not to cut all the way down into the other color. Alright, so this one I'm gonna have to kind of block the camera maybe, because I'm gonna have to do this with this freehand. Alright, so I'm gonna cut down into the monocle all the way to the edge, just like so. Alright, so then you go ahead and pull it off, just like that. Alright, so once you pull that off, now you go ahead and take the masking tape off, and what you will have is a nice crisp line like you see right there. So a lot of people are trying to ask, how do you get a clean line at the edge of a wingtip and stuff like that? So that's pretty much how. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and iron everything back down and seal everything. Alright, See, I kind of went crooked on the cut, but for the most part, it's as straight as you're gonna get. Damn, I think I need to zoom back out. There you go. So there you go. That's basically how I'll do that. All right. So no wrinkles. As you can see, no wrinkles. It's all about pulling and tugging, and then applying the heat. All right. So you might wanna raise up the temperature on the sealing iron just a tad bit, you know, just so you can it heats everything up and melts it down pretty good. All right, so one thing I'll do now is go here and start sealing everything down and clean it up, and we're good to go. All right, hopefully that was helpful for those who are trying to apply monocote on compound curves. Remember, tugging and heat is your friend. Just don't pull too much and apply too much heat, because you will rip the monocote. Alright, so have fun, continue building, continue covering, enjoy the hobby. Shit.